Good morning and welcome. Thank you so much for being with us today. So much of the news that this office has been pushing out this year has been related to the 2024 election, and so we are very excited and eager to talk about something different. So here today we are celebrating the launch of our new online business filing system. And this is the heart of the work that we do here in our Business Services Division at the Secretary of State's office. The Business Services Division plays a very key role in helping establish new businesses in Vermont, providing protection and clarity whenever a consumer or a business or a corporate attorney or a lawmaker wants information about a business that is registered here in Vermont. Registering a new business at the Secretary of State's office is the first step to establishing a new business. And it's something that businesses need to do in order to establish their business name, in order to get their bank account, to establish a relationship with the tax department. So we're really proud to offer the very first step in the process of forming a new business in Vermont. We also are an ongoing part of a business's evolution in Vermont. And so there are annual or biennial reporting that businesses do here through our system. And we are proud to be able to offer those services seamlessly and smoothly for businesses in Vermont. The mission of our Business Services Division is really centered on transparency, which is a key priority for the Secretary of State's office across all of our divisions. All business registrations are available in a searchable database, and anyone with access to a computer or internet is able to research a business in Vermont. You can also call or email or visit us here in person. Customer service is our focus in the Business Services Division, and we are always happy to help regardless of what medium you need to reach out to us through. In fiscal year 2024, this small division processed over 125,000 records, including nearly 14,000 new business formations, 67,000 annual and biennial reports, and 16,000 UCC filings. We've come a long way with the new online business filing system, and it's the next chapter in our evolution of service to businesses in Vermont. Up until 2013, this division processed all of these filings in paper, and so there would be stacks from floor to ceiling of business filings that this very small team would work to process. And processing that annual report season would require weeks and weeks of intensive labor. And I'm looking at the team right now because I'm really proud to say that most of the members of our business services team were actually here for that first transition from paper to digital. And I think it's a really exciting chance for them to see what this next iteration of the online business filing system can mean for their efficiency and for the way we serve Vermont businesses. The previous IT system was stretched beyond its useful life. A decade is a century in terms of IT, and so we are very happy to be moving into our new system with all of its efficiencies. When I took office in 2023, it was really clear we needed to move forward with this project and to push it along as efficiently and quickly as possible. I was really proud to bring David Hall on to help spearhead that effort, and he and his team have been working diligently over the last 10 months to put this system together. We also need to give a big shout of thanks to our partners at Reframe, the vendor who is building our system. Our incredible business services team has worked side by side with Reframe throughout this year. Also want to give thanks to our own Secretary of State IT team, and then also with us here today are folks from our Agency of Digital Services, including Denise Riley-Hughes. And I just want to thank you and your team for the collaboration, because we truly wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the hard work that all of you did to help push this along. I'm going to turn the microphone over to Business Services Director David Hall for a few remarks.
Thank you, Madam Secretary, and thanks for being here today. Want to say to Vermonters, we have proudly delivered a new IT project on time and on budget through the diligent effort of our team with our partners at the Agency of Digital Services, our vendor Reframe Solutions. We put in double time most days of the week to identify all the things that Vermonters need in this system and do our best to implement it and go live this week, and we're very proud of that work. Just a quick overview of why it matters to you and what it does. To create a business is fundamentally a bargain in society between putting capital at risk and enjoying liability protection and public awareness when you decide to go out and put it all on the line. And we stand at the middle of that effort. We are the place you come to create your business, to file your records, to maintain yourself in good standing. Banks and regulators look to us when they need to know who owns a business or who is applying for a loan application, for instance, with whom they may want to conduct a business deal. It's information that is, as the Secretary said, transparent, public, and it relates at the end of the day to protection. So we're excited about this new system. As the Secretary mentioned, the old system over 10 years old. Certainly a big step forward over paper, but it had reached limits, and we now have a new system that is, I'd say, better in all ways. It's secure in the sense that it meets all of our standards for cybersecurity, for authentication, for logon. All of the protections that you would expect from a modern IT system are certainly integrated and deployed under this new filing system. It is accessible to Vermonters. You can access this online by your phone, authenticate via email, OTP. We have multi-factor authentication to make sure you are who you are. And if you fail the test, we make it harder for you to get in and make the changes you want to see. The system is more reliable in the sense we have intensive support from our vendor, from ADS, and we feel very confident in the database that we've built and in the retrievability, accessibility of records. It is more convenient for people. We have a user dashboard to which you can associate your filings, your records over your history, and easily access the receipts of the transactions you've had with our office, and hopefully makes things easy for you throughout the year and at the end of the year as we come up on tax and other record deadlines. And lastly, this is hopefully, ideally, more user-friendly for our staff internally. They work really hard, and as the Secretary said, process over 100,000 records a year among 5 people. So they really do an incredible job, and it speaks to their commitment to public service that they've been with this division from at least 8 all the way up to almost 20 years. So I'm very proud of our team. Since we went live with this new system early on Sunday, we had completed our work and did a soft rollout. We've processed over 1,000 records at this point, and so far helped hundreds of, all of the new users create a new online identity within the new system. And while I will be the first to concede that, as with any new system, nothing is perfect, we continue to work diligently every day to fix any bugs, issues, bells, whistles, and over the next 100 days we'll be in an intensive warranty period as we go into annual report filing, and we will be sure to address all your concerns. So if you come to our system, if you find things that are wrong, we want to hear from you. We want to fix it. We want to help you succeed. Email, phone, come to our website, come to 128 in Montpelier. We're happy to help. And with that, I think I will defer now to our Secretary of Digital Services.
So first I want to thank Secretary Copeland Hanzas and Deputy Secretary Hibbard, because we are typically behind the scenes. We don't get to see the outcomes, honestly, when it comes to some of these major projects. And to hear you sharing all of the critical factors that led you to go live where it's securing digital data, it's securing identity, it's protecting our businesses as they operate with the state of Vermont. It very much aligns to the strategies that we've been working on at ADS, as well as user experience. And so this is a job well done to the broader team as a whole. And I know that my team members are here too. This was a full group effort, and I really look forward to, now that we are post-go live, look forward to seeing how this system really benefits the businesses across Vermont. So thank you.
Thank you. In closing, with the launch of our new system, we can now turn towards the projects that we have in front of us for 2025. So I wanted to give a brief preview of some of the more important ones that we will be talking about in the coming year. First and foremost, we intend to pursue legislation in the coming session to further improve our operations here, streamline the laws that govern corporations and business organizations, and the filing processes that they follow. Importantly, based on conversations that we've had with our counterparts in other states, it's becoming clear that there's a rising number of fraudulent filings throughout the country. It's not just a Vermont experience. We've seen modest increases in attempted fraudulent filings this year. Under current Vermont law, in most cases, disputes over fraudulent filing must be referred to law enforcement and resolved by the courts, which is slow, cumbersome, inefficient, and I think insufficient in terms of the risk to Vermonters of fraudulent filings. So in the past year, other states, including Colorado and Rhode Island, have adopted legislation to create some administrative procedures in order to allow the efficient evaluation of potentially fraudulent filings. In the coming legislative session, we intend to work with the committees of jurisdiction to identify any appropriate similar administrative remedies that we can adopt here in Vermont. We will, of course, continue to work with stakeholders and within government and the business community to identify ways that we can improve our system and also the laws that are governing our operations. We will continue with an update to rules governing the Uniform Commercial Code and also continue to work with our vendor to iron out any wrinkles in the new system that we have launched here this week. I am very proud of our dedicated business services team, and I know that they will continue to support Vermonters and Vermont businesses, either in person here at 128 State Street, on the phone, via email, and through filings in our online filing system. So I want to thank you so much for joining us to celebrate this successful launch of the new online business filing system. David and I are happy to take any questions.
You've talked a lot about what this system can and will do. Can you just identify what specific problem this new infrastructure solves for businesses?
Well, first and foremost, the aging system that we were operating under had zero flexibility. We were not able to make changes to the system as laws change or make changes to the system as our internal processes might change. So the flexibility that this new system offers is critical to us being able to do timely filing and processing of people's forms and registrations. We have identified a number of places in our statutes where it's clear that that things are not in alignment. The way one corporation type files is, should be analogous to another, but they're very different and the requirements are different and the fees are different. So as we move into this next legislative session where we're going to try to bring many of those into alignment, we need a system that can be flexible and moldable so that we can change our internal processes as the laws change. And I'm sure that David has a number of other answers to that he could rattle off, so I can certainly let you jump right in.
I'm just wondering, David, I'm a business owner.
Sure.
What have I been dealing with under the old system that's been a pain for me that this new iteration is going to resolve or make easier?
Sure, I think the flexibility is the.
You might step up.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I think the flexibility in being able to manipulate the new system in response to changes in processes and the law is definitely paramount. Over time, for whatever reason, IT systems tend to stagnate. We had problems with search results. We had problems with making sure, all of our records ended up under the right name in the right place. Things just sort of, get sort of dated over time, and an upgrade to the database and the internal machinery of the system itself was good. But as a business owner, what I'm hoping that you're going to find is fewer dead ends, more intuitive tile cards. When you come into the system, I hope that it's more intuitive for you to know that I'm ready to file this initially, or I want to make an amendment here, and you're going to be able to work your way right through that system without too much heartache. We had a long tortured history of some connectivity to some other departments, but basically, let me say in a nutshell, one of the things we're trying to work on right now is to build better connections among the Secretary of State's office in places like the Department of Labor, the Department of Taxes, the Agency of Agriculture, Department of Health. So when people come to form or update the type of business that they're operating, they'll have cleaner connections and more information about where do I go next, what do I need to do, with whom do I need to speak. And we're still building out some of that functionality, but that's on the way. And I think the flexibility of the system to be able to update it in real time is not only saves us a lot of significant costs, because previously, for instance, just to communicate with businesses was a significant hit for us to compile an email address list of businesses that are registered. Now, if we have a flood, if we have an announcement or something of significant import, that we need to use to contact businesses that are active and registered in our system, I think that level of communication will be much cleaner as well. So lots of ways, both internal and external, that I think that this system will be more responsive to our needs and to the needs of business users.
Total cost?
Sure. So the total lifecycle cost of this system is about $5.5 million over the first projected contract period of 5 years. So that's about 3.78 for the build, and then about $350 a year for operation. That is actually $100,000-ish cheaper on an annual operating basis relative to what we have now. So after we take out the build work, ongoing maintenance and operation costs for a superior system are actually less than the system that we have right now. So we feel...
Well, we don't have it anymore. We have to change our language.
That's right. Oh, the previous system. So both an upgrade and a cost savings in the long run.
We're gonna keep going. Okay, that's all I have. Fraudulent filings?
Yes.
What kind of fraudulent filings are you talking about? Fraudulent business filings?
Yeah, it really runs the gamut, and the sophistication of fraudulent filers is an issue that we discussed this summer at the AHCA conference in Detroit. Basically, it's both pure fraud, where they just come in and posit a fake identity, basically try to start a business and do as much damage as they can before anybody catches on to it. A more concerning increase lately is in what's called synthetic filings, where people take some aspects of actual businesses and then make up the rest, make a composite identity, if you will, and then try to apply, let's say, for a loan online. So there's never much person-to-person interaction. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. But typically the problem arises for us in most circumstances is when it's either a synthetic filing or it's some sort of abuse. A fake filer will use a valid address of a Vermont landowner, a homeowner. And the landowner or homeowner comes to us and says, I definitely do not have an LLC that does such and such, is now registered on file with your office. We have some tools to try to respond to that, but what we really would like to see is clear legislative authority that allows an efficient administrative disposition before harm can be caused. And right now, as we said, really the process for us to follow in most cases is a referral to the AG's office or the state's attorney. Obviously, they're limited in their capacity, and then the courts are even more limited in their capacity. It's timely, it's burdensome, it's it's costly. So our hope is to mimic some of the other administrative resolution procedures that are embedded in the Secretary of State's office. And when we have cases of fraud, clear misstatements of fact, erroneous filings, we'll give people the opportunity to correct the record or validate the information they provide with us, or we'll be able to move pretty expeditiously to terminate or suspend that filing until we can sort out whether or not it's valid. So that's what we're hoping for.
So you're seeking the authority to terminate a filing, which you do not have right now?
Essentially, yes. There are limited circumstances in which we can involuntarily terminate filings. For instance, you failed to tell us you changed your agent, you didn't file your annual report. There's a window and there's a process. But right now, for pure fraud, really the way the system is built is it's trust but verify with consequences on the back end. And those consequences, unfortunately, right now are just really long in coming. And what we would need is what we hope for, and the legislature will agree to, is just a more responsive administrative process to those cases.
And this is my last question. I just want to make sure I'm understanding. These folks are creating fraudulent businesses to create the veneer, the legitimacy that allows them to commit financial fraud either against consumers or banks or what have you.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, great.
Wonderful.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you guys for
Nice job, everyone.